What's good?
Hey, what's up, Lef? What's going on, man?
Not much, you all right?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm hoping everybody exceeded. I don't know if everyone else is getting that same stupid rate limit exceeded error.
Yeah, everybody's
Yeah,
getting
so
it.
stupid. So I tweet shit and I can't even read my own tweet.
Yeah, me. I got a motherfucking million notifications. I'm not even about to go.
Yeah, exactly. Guess we're too popular.
Oh yeah, or too controversial.
Yeah, right. I don't think it's that.
But we got the big news yesterday.
Yeah. I'm just kind of laughing. Look, even if it was, I guess we could wait till the show actually starts. But I'm just laughing at all the people who. I'm sure there was a small circle of people who knew all along what the plan was, but the number of people who are claiming they knew what was up is kind of makes me laugh.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, nobody knew what the fuck was up. Nobody. Oh, wait, except that one guy.
Yeah,
who tweeted.
That's why I retweeted him. Look. I'll admit, I never even heard of him. Maybe I have in passing, but until Ray showed me his tweet, I was like, damn, what the fuck is this? But clearly, he knows someone in that camp. And that was what, June 15th.
Yeah, which is like almost the date that it was announced, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Which was occur. I mean, do you like to fight?
Are we officially starting the show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this. I want to be as positive as possible, though, because I don't want people to say that I'm shitting on the fight at all. I love the event. I think for Canelo to go to PBC, for all of the options he had, Jermell Charlo is the biggest name. He has, I think, the biggest fan base. I think he could generate a bigger event than Benavidez, Morrell, even his own brother. So as far as the event goes, I think this is the very best case scenario for everyone involved.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the fight itself.
The fight.
It's not tingling
your.
No,
not at all. Look, the fight itself. Look, I love the undisputed versus undisputed narrative. I actually like Jermell's chances better than Jamal. I am not going to outright pick Canelo to win this fight. Jermell is not just going to jump up and sell himself, sell out for a fight like this. I like his chances in this fight. He's naturally bigger than Canelo. Canelo has grown into super middleweight. He's obviously been there longer. We don't know what Mel can do outside of 154, but he's a big dude. He's the naturally bigger fighter. To my knowledge, he's never struggled to make 154. I can very easily see him filling out nicely at 168. I don't think he's just going to kind of gravitate towards super middleweight. He's going to do it the right way. He's got 3 months to get ready for that fight.
I love the fight.
Look, like I said, I love the event. I love the matchup. The only thing, let me make this clear. The only thing I don't like about a fight like this is that they have 7 combined mandatories between them. Maybe some of them don't deserve that title shot right away, and that's fine. But to my knowledge, up until at least 3 days ago, Tim Tszyu was led to believe his next fight was going to be against Jermell Charlo, or that Jermell would be stripped of the WBO belt and Tszyu would be upgraded. They pitched the June 17th event, everything about the June 17th event, and even the people who were involved in that show, who are now claiming they knew all along what was the plan, if that was true, then they sold that June 17th Showtime event on a lie, because the entire premise around that show was that Tszyu was going to keep active, get that win, and his next fight was going to be against Jermell Charlo.
Well,
yeah, no, I get it. Look,
we got a better look. I'm not in the business of feeling sorry for you.
I'm okay.
I mean the way Mel went out there and fought everybody. Yeah. When we start talking about people that deserve shit, even though I don't like saying people deserve things, I think you deserve whatever you can negotiate. Right. Mel is the textbook case for a guy that deserves something. If Tim Tszyu was so worried about that goddamn WBO, then go out there and beat and win the vacant title, and you could go collect the belts the same way Mel did. I'm not about to feel sorry for him after this man that put in tons and tons of work.
So
since he was a prospect.
Yeah, and let me say this: Jermell Charlo has the right to fight. He's earned the right to fight whoever he wants. He's earned the right to take this payday. You'd have to be an idiot to say, okay, well, you had the chance to fight Canelo, and be like, no, I want to go fight Tim Tszyu just so I can keep my titles. Nobody would ever make that decision. Tim Tszyu would not make that same decision if he had the chance to either fight Jermell or fight Canelo. Nobody in that position would choose the opposite route other than to fight Canelo, unless they just absolutely believe that they cannot beat him and don't want an 8-figure payday.
I don't know. Well, Zoo, like you said, I don't think they would be purchasing Zoo fights in Australia if they didn't plan on him to fight Charlo. It's just things changed. It was a change of plans, and we got to go. Now we're going with that.
No, I get everything. I everything that led to the surprise announcement yesterday. I get why the fight is happening. I'm perfectly fine with all that. Like I said, just
matter of fact, Zoo might be in position to fight Spence if Spence wins.
It's not a bad thing.
Which is a bigger fight than what him.
All along, I always believed that I didn't know how it was going to happen, but for some reason, between Errol, Mel, and Maul, I always believed that one was going to move up, and then the rest would follow, and that Spence would eventually fight for one of Jermell's titles. That was always my belief. So maybe that could very well be the case. But of course, Errol still has Terrence Crawford. Whether he wins or loses, they both have a rematch clause, so we might be getting 2 fights there.
Yeah, very well could. Yeah. I mean, I like to fight, and I'm even picking Mel Charlo to win.
Yeah,
I see the vision.
Look, for those of us who want these big events to drive the sport, this is as big as it gets. I think, especially now with Paramount finally acknowledging that boxing exists in its sphere, because they didn't at all with the Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia fight, which made that fight so much bigger. The fact that it had such little help. I think that I could see them going all the way in, because now they're advertising that Paramount is the home for those who want to stream Showtime. You have to go to subscribe to do the Paramount plus Showtime or whatever it is. I could see them being a big part of driving this event as well. So I think this is going to be a massive event. It's easily going to be Canelo's biggest event since the Caleb Plant fight, maybe even since the second Gennady Golovkin fight.
Yeah. So, like you said, this was like a change. So, from what I heard, that Maul was offered the fight, but he wasn't ready yet. Did you hear that?
I saw what other reporters are now. I tried to ask about it. My understanding all along, and look, again, for anyone who claims that they knew Mel was a plan all along, this is the lie they were told, that they were in on. I was told that Maul was going to get the fight to the point where they were going to allow him to keep his WBC middleweight title, just so he can enter the ring, making that announcement that he's entering the ring as WBC middleweight champion. After that, whether he gave up the belt or was stripped of the belt, then Adames would be upgraded to WBC champ after that fight. That was always my understanding of it up until Friday afternoon.
Well, I think Thursday night we were on the space talking, and somebody DM'd me and said that fight between Maul is not happening because Maul is not ready.
Yeah. So that makes perfect sense. But now it goes back to, what does Maul do next? And look, I mean, credit to him. Again, I actually give him credit, because from everything it sounds like, it would have been a cash out fight for him, which I think a lot of people believe. Some people wanted to give him a chance, but it's like, okay, he's going in 27 months between fights, coming off everything that he's going through personally. So it did kind of lend to, okay, well, it's kind of a cash out opportunity. He deserves the payday, but I didn't like his chances as much as I do like Jermell's chances. So, but now I have to question, what does he do next?
You'll take a tune-up, then fight Adames.
Yeah.
Defend against Adames.
Right.
I mean, if he's still interested in boxing.
Yeah.
Let's get it going. Like I said, I'm not particularly worried for people that, if things didn't go Zoo's way, he has an opportunity to make things go his way. It's not the end of the world.
No, I get that. Let me say this though. I will say, as like for what Showtime had planned though, I was really looking forward to. I didn't love Canelo versus Jermell Charlo. I was fine with it. I was fine with it accompanying a Jermell Charlo Tim Tszyu fight on Showtime. I thought that was a fantastic stretch. So now we got this massive event between Canelo and Jermell. But like, now do you put Tim Tszyu versus Bakram Murtazaliev on a Showtime main event? Like, how does that look? It's an okay fight, but that's not exactly a subscription driver.
Okay. The other fight, so October 30th, because the dates were taken up by the concert, UFC.
Yeah, September 30th.
So October 30th.
September.
Yeah, I'm sorry, September 30th. I keep saying October. October 30th.
Right.
What's up, Mr.
Hey,
Ellerbe?
what's happening?
You got some ads?
Hey, I'm just got this nice little road trip, and I'm just tapping in. My suggestion is just continue to be patient and let the people who are in the positions to make things happen.
Yep.
Everyone wants to speculate and this and that, and as you know, history will tell you anything that we've ever done, we've always done it behind the scenes. We're not that like that loudmouth clown, but you know, got to get out there and promote himself and what we may do and may not do is because then nothing is never going to get done. If the fans continue to be patient, they're going to get all these fights that they're talking about in no particular order. You know, when it was first announced that Canelo was coming to work with the PBC, everyone was just speculating automatically that it was Maul and in this order and Benavidez, and it's so many different things and possibilities that could happen. Just have to continue to be patient, but there are many more things to come. Trust me, and the best things are things are done behind the scenes, you know. And I love playing the back. I love playing the back, and sometimes you have to play the front, and then sometimes you have to play the back. But the best things, the fans are going to get exactly what they want. Trust me, they're going to get exactly what they want. For quite some time, people they were out there saying that Tank wasn't going to do this, Tank was going to do that. Big things are coming. Big things are coming. Just continue to be patient. And when that's with a number of fighters, you know, me personally, I don't have to jump out there and say, I'm working with this guy, working with that. I work with a lot of guys that you guys have no clue about, you know, but it's not about me. It's always about these fighters. Always going to be about the fighters. So I just kind of want to.
So we just need to be patient for the Tank versus Haney announcement. That's what you're saying.
No, Lefty, I'm just saying, just be patient with any and everything with all these fighters who work with us. You know, and we're not going to be jumping out there saying that this and that. Let the other guys do that. We're just going to continue to make the big fights behind the scenes and let it do what it do.
Any more surprise announcements coming up?
Most definitely. Timing wise, I can't speak on that, but it's more to follow. More to follow. And see, that's the beauty of when you're working with great people at the highest level, is that again, history will always tell you that we are not ones to get out there and say, "Oh, look what we're doing." We just do it. Action. You know, there were quite a few people out there speaking on, you know, PBC, Showtime's going out of business, and you know now, I guess they're kind of it's crickets.
Yep.
It's crickets. But more big fights to follow. You know, this year has been a fantastic year thus far, and it's going to continue on into 24, 25. You know, we're working on things right now for 25.
Oh, okay, for 2025.
Yeah, we're working on things right now for 2025.
Does the Gervonta Davis fight include 2020? 2023?
Tank is going to be busy doing what he do. Tank is always going to be busy doing what he do, and the biggest fights that are possible. But a lot of these fights that some of the fans think, and I continue to say think that are big right now. They aren't big right now. They're big for the fans on Twitter that they think that are big, but it's not beneficial to the fighters that when you the fights that again, I have to say this, and I want to just be kind of clear on this. Fights that some of you guys think are big, they really aren't that big at the moment.
So, okay, like certain fights you think are big, that we think are big, like we always say, Tank versus Shakur, that's a big fight. But it could get bigger.
Tank versus anybody is a big fight.
I'm talking about like on the level of Tank versus Ryan. Or Tank versus Haney.
But
is that fight?
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought the Tank Ryan part up, because I said for many moons that Tank, definitely in that business division by far. And when that fight got made, we saw the results business-wise. And Gervonta Davis is driving that train when it comes to making any fight that's big. And we have there are a lot of, and I'm not speaking for Tank per se. I'm just speaking as in general. There are a lot of fights to be made, but any fight that he's involved in is going to be a big fight. It's going to be a big fight. Timing wise, it's just a matter of just how things go.
Well, are we gonna get an announcement of Wilder big fight? Because that's the one that we, well, me personally, that's really the one I'm ready to see Wilder back in the ring.
Deontay's a tremendous fighter. I'm definitely a big fan, and when it's time for him to make an announcement on what he's going to do, you'll hear from him directly.
Let me say this. I want to add to this. I want to add to Leonard because Leonard is. You guys really need to listen to what Leonard's saying. Think back to any fight where, whether I broke it, whether Mike Coppinger broke it, Dan Rayfield broke it. Think back to your reaction when we learned about that fight versus when Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao announced themselves that they were fighting each other. An announcement that came clear out of the blue, because that was the same reaction that I saw yesterday. That's when we really get excited. These felt like, oh shit, like that fight wasn't even on my radar. Now we're excited. Nobody gives a fuck who broke the story. When these guys themselves tell you, look, this is what we've been working on, this is what comes to reality, those are the events that really drive the sport.
I agree, Jake. Totally agree.
Nobody cares who broke Floyd Mayweather or Manny Pacquiao. We sat around, we fucking downloaded shots and waited for Floyd to make that announcement that he was fighting Manny Pacquiao.
You still got the shots app?
That went when Floyd retired.
Well, how do you think this year is compared to other years, Leonard?
I think it's the best year. I mean, and it's going to get better. It's going to get better. The pieces pretty much are in place to do the things you need to do, and you just got to just sit back as fans and just watch, because boxing is rolling. Boxing is rolling despite the haters. See, this is the thing which you guys got to pay attention to, is that the naysayers, the haters, whatever you want to call them. Everybody was saying this and that about PBC and Showtime. And it's only because they didn't have access to the things that the PBC had access to. You know what I'm saying? Is that this would be a whole different discussion if another entity was involved and was driving that train. It would be a whole different discussion.
So you saying that
entirely?
You saying there wouldn't be articles saying how to fix boxing if there was another entity?
And the timing of that couldn't have been worse, because it couldn't have been worse. It couldn't have been worse. But again, it's I don't want to really speak on too much on that part of it. But it just goes to show you that when you know what's going on, and a lot of people are not in the know who give out this perception that they are in the know. They have no clue. And I just sit back and I laugh, because I knew all along what was going on, because I've been a part of what's going on. I just don't raise my hand and say, because there's no need to. It's like, we on to the next, because there's so much work to be done. And not one person. It's a group team effort to make all these wonderful things happen. You look at the work like a Ken Buhari does behind the scenes. He doesn't get a lot of credit for the things what I'm doing. No, it's like he's just working, making things happen. And I have a lot of respect for people who just do the things that they need to do, and not jumping out there just being, it's a time to celebrate, and but sometimes people just jump the gun, and it's just all they do is make themselves look ignorant by doing that. Because you see a lot of these YouTubers out there making these ridiculous videos, and people send me this stuff all the time, and I can't even comment on half of the stuff. I like coming on Twitter when I have the opportunity, to kind of rattle some of the fans once in a while. But it's too much work to be done to be worrying about really what all these other people be talking about. We just want to give the fans these big fights, especially for the fighters that we're involved with, because it's like you hear on one hand they criticizing the fighters for inactivity, but it's, oftentimes people don't really understand what goes on behind the scenes with fighters. Sometimes fighters don't want to fight.
Yep.
And that's none of nobody's business. You know what I mean? People if they just stay in their lane and be fans, and it's okay to, to go back and forth and have an opinion, because everyone has one. But when you get there and you're very adamant about this and that, it's just, you kind of just look stupid, like, one or two of these promoters out there.
Yeah, like saying people are ducking, like saying Jermell is ducking Tim Tszyu for taking the Charlo fight. When Tim Tszyu would cut off his leg.
Do you know how crazy that sounds? You know how crazy that sounds? What would Mel be ducking anybody for? Mel wants all the smoke and always has wanted all the smoke. Timing, this fight with Canelo is a huge fight. It's a huge fight. And you think he's concerned about something Tim Tszyu is saying? That the fans in Australia is concerned about that. And he's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. But to make the absurd comment that Jermell Charlo is ducking him, it's just ridiculous.
Thanks. Matt, what's up? You got something, Matt? Matt?
Not yet. Not yet. Y'all keep cooking. I'm just listening and learning. Sometimes it's better to just shut up and listen, hear what's really going on instead of trying to, to the next. So if Leonard could maybe, I know he ain't gonna tell us what's next, but does it involve a certain kid from Baltimore fighting a certain kid from Oakland? That's all. That's what I want to know.
Man, we always working. We stay working. While you guys are sleeping, we working. And when you guys are working, we still working too. And it's been that way for so many years. We just stay working. And a lot of the noise that are being just made, we can't even hear it. Can't even hear it. Once in a while, I know I'll tap in, just have some fun, but it's like you can't even hear it.
So you said you saying Al ain't on a burner Twitter account responding to people?
Who? And a what? On with social media. Man, again, the noise that's made on Twitter, you really can't hear it because it's kind of levels to what you're doing, and it's, everyone has an opinion, and I'm always gonna say that it's okay. It's never really personal unless you get to saying something crazy about the person, then it becomes kind of, but you can't really hear them then. I get all kinds of stuff that's sent to me from my team, You know, some of the stuff I'll choose to respond, and it's just a lot of stuff. It just it's funny. It really is.
What made you respond to O'Hara Davies? Because I know he was talking crazy, and you was like, nah, don't get at me like that.
Actually, somebody from my staff has sent me that, and sometimes somebody can catch you in between something, and it's like, because I'm not going to tolerate the disrespect, especially when I see it, and I'm in that moment. I don't even know who this kid is. To be honest, but
most people don't. But I guess it caused like a big thing in the UK because he's like one of Eddie Hearn's fighters, and
No, he used to be. He's not Eddie Hearn.
Yeah, but see, a lot of times what happens is the UK has its own audience, and that's what people gotta understand, that it's totally different from the United States of America. It's like, see, like, and what I've had to kind of just ascertain over a period of time is that they have their own way of talking, but see, we do things differently over here. We do see things that they say that's kind of sarcasm, but that kind of shit to get your ass whooped over here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And it's like, is not sarcasm. That's just crazy to me.
Somebody just sent me something. Hearn said about something crazy, and I'm just like, yeah, sometimes you just gotta take the high road with some of this foolishness, because in reality is that you just sometimes you just gotta watch what you say, because there for every action there's pretty much gonna be a reaction. And you just sometimes you don't know what you're getting yourself into when you're speaking on something, and you thinking that this is you just trying to be funny and make a joke, or as what they do, but then you get your ass whooped, and then you never know what happened and why, and it's just how things go.
So that's true. What about this? When this fight was announced, is this at the full 168 or is this a catchweight?
I don't want to get into any of the details of that kind of stuff, because it's not my role to speak on that. I just know this is that we have a terrific fight, and it's going to be more of big stuff to follow. More of the big stuff to follow.
That means Tank versus Haney for y'all that's not watch this.
No, what that means is just what I just said. Is that when it's time for the fighters. The fight, it's all about the fighters. It's not about promoters. It's about the fighters. And anytime that a promoter think that they're bigger than the fighter, then you know what that's all about. I've always played the back. And I played the most integral role in Floyd Mayweather's career. I've always played the back. I ain't got to raise my hand and say, look, I did that. I did that. Or people be surprised about how all of this stuff goes. It's always about how all of this stuff goes. It's always about the fighters. Always going to be about the fight. He's going to be a terrific professional, and he's definitely being guided the right way, and I'm really, really excited about what lies ahead for him.
What about when you're going to sign grandbaby Mayweather to a contract? That boy looks like he got skills already.
Oh my God! Right. It's like I was joking with Floyd about this. It was the other day. I was like, Jesus, he got started before you did. It's amazing how the genes are so strong, and it's just like you just watch him, and it's like he's got it already. I mean, it's just definitely a blessing. Definitely a blessing.
Well, we appreciate you tapping in.
I got a nice little road trip ahead of me. Sometimes I don't like to fly. I like to just drive. And
so that sounds like me.
You sound like you, Lefty. I was about to say that. You sound like you.
Me, I jump in the car and drive across country.
Yeah. Me too. I like that. You know, sometimes you can just have a clear mind, and you can actually get a lot of stuff done that way.
Yeah, like big fights.
Exactly.
Big fights. That's true. Big fights. That's true. Big fights. That's true.
All right. What else do we have, Jake?
So before we jump into that, I want to again, look, Leonard. I hope everyone listens to all the knowledge that he's been dropping here, and Leonard could attest to this. Kenneth, Sampson, because I remember when I had the privilege of working NBC shows and Bounce, PBC in its first year. I remember going to all the PBC events, and all we talked about was the future of the sport. I would cover other events, HBO, whoever else, and all it was about focusing on the negativity. Oh, fuck this guy, fuck that guy. It was it's just such a different vibe. And we're right back to that in 2023.
Yeah.
And I think it was Brittany Goosen. She tweeted yesterday, just how big this year has been. We're only halfway done. Everyone is still scrambling, trying to figure out what's next. And it's we still got 6 months ahead to add to what's been an incredible year. And it tells you how some people go about doing their business and how others, they got to bring people down to try to make their product look better. That is where we're at. It's the same place we were at 8 years ago.
But we're working on stuff for 25 right now. Right now.
Yep.
That's how you stay ahead of what they call the competition.
Yep. That's a great way of putting it.
You got people saying that boxing is broken and needs to be fixed. I mean, that shit pisses me off so much.
No, the parties that
it's a 3-part series.
They're just, and I'm not talking about those specific individuals who wrote that. There's a group of people a large group of people, that they're just really upset that the entity and the people who are making these things happen, that's what they're upset about. Because they've been outworked, they've been outsmarted, and that's just kind of what it's always been the case. It's always been the case. And we're going to stay hustling and out thinking. Let them do the loudmouth talking and this and that. We need to make these big events. You notice I said events instead of fights.
Yeah, like Tank versus Tank. It's a huge event coming up. A huge event coming up next.
Anything Tank Davis is involved in is big. Anything.
How's he doing? You talk to him? He's doing good.
Tank is he's doing as best as he can, and he's in good spirits, and just biding the time, and that's it.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of fighters ain't mentioning his name no more. They must not have a fight coming up. I noticed when they have a fight coming up, everything is Tank. Now that it's a little dry for them right now, nobody's mentioning Tank's name no more. I understand that.
Well, we know that Tank's name gets spoken on quite a bit for obvious reasons, obviously, because he's the guy. He's that guy. He's everything what he said he was, and what I've been saying for a number of years. I've been telling everyone, for a number of years that he would be where he's at today. Top of the food chain. He's the guy that everybody is gunning for. Haven't I been saying that, Jake?
Yes, you have. Since 2015. Before he was even really showcased on TV.
Yeah.
Facts.
Are you able to touch on the Broner situation?
No, just I got a lot of respect for Adrian. Always want nothing but the best for him, no matter what. You know, a lot of times people be out there saying, you know, in the past or whatever. Adrian's always been my guy, and you know, just continue to always want the best for him. Continue to. I pray for a lot of people, you know, and sometimes people go through. I'm with you. I'm with you through the good, the bad, the indifferent. I'm with you, but that's what loyalty is all about, you know. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people learned this week is that there's still a lot of love out there for Adrian Broner. Everybody just want this story to end well. That's all. You know, that's all we're looking for.
That is true. All right, Jake. Another fight. What was the other fight that was announced this week? It was another big fight. I didn't get off track.
I know.
Was it?
What decent fight, I should say.
Drawing a blank. I can't think of any. I don't know. Just yesterday's news kind of blurred my vision on everything else that happens.
Well, we have tonight.
We have Jared Anderson and Charles Martin.
Today.
Yeah, you got the return of Charles Martin. Yeah. He's going to return to the top of the sport, and it starts tonight.
A lot of people have just completely counted him out going into tonight. So
crazy.
This is not
because he's in good shape.
Yes, he is. Damn good shape. Look, I know a lot of fighters always say it. I know he's been in the gym. Like I said, he was preparing to fight on the Spence. I don't want to keep saying Spence Crawford undercard. He's supposed to fight Gergen Hovhannissian. They were supposed to fight in April. He was ready for that fight then. Gergen was the one who got injured, pulled out. Charles Martin stayed in the gym, stayed ready, and he showed it. I thought he looked damn good at the scale yesterday. I love where his head is at. He's not talking crazy nonsense. He is here for the upset. So a lot of people are just picking Jared Anderson to just roll right through him. Look, I get why he's the favorite. You know, he's knocked out everyone he's faced, but I'll give all the props in the world to Jared Anderson if he does what everyone thinks he's going to do tonight. I don't know. Maybe I'm just believing too much in Charles Martin.
I'm picking an over 3.5.
Yeah,
I know we got to at least get over 3.5. I think it's going to be a very good test.
Yeah.
A very good, strong test for him, and to have a former champion on your resume, that's a good look.
Yeah.
What up, True?
Oh, I know. We had the question part already.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Before we get there, look, can I just say this? I hated that whole. A lot of people brought that. We saw with the Broner clip. I didn't even want to watch it. The only positive thing I'm glad that we've gotten out of it is we can stop talking about him fighting, whether it's Rolly or even fucking Regis Prograis. And just now people are actually serious. They said it as like buzzwords and catchphrases that they want to see him get better. Now we truly want to see him get to a better place in life. This is what always needed to be the case. He screamed this last year. He's been very open about all the stuff that's going on in his life. And now we needed to see him piss drunk on a show. Oh my God, he needs to get better. So that's like, if there's one positive take out of that whole thing that came out, it's that. I hope Adrian Broner gets better because Lefty always says it too. Every fighter you talk to in the sport when Broner's name comes up, they talk about all the love he shows them. He's done a lot of good for Jermell Herring, for Barney, any fighter that's been around him. That love has always been reciprocated. So now, we have to see Adrian Broner get better. Stop talking about who he's going to fight next. His next fight has to be to get himself better.
Thanks. Go ahead, True.
Yeah, Jake. So my question was, again, my weekly question, man. Any update on this Hector Luis Garcia and Lamont Roach fight? And also, again, I've been hearing some rumblings of a fight coming to the DMV.
Yeah. So I'm going to combine those into one answer. So I was told that I asked Juan Orengo, I think is the one who put it out there, that Emmanuel Rodriguez and Melvin Lopez, their vacant IBF bantamweight fight should be coming to the DC area. Some people, maybe just because they don't live there, they don't know. Some people saying DC, the other side is saying Maryland. I'm assuming, I don't know if it's going to be the MGM National Harbor or somewhere in that area, but that's my understanding that the fight will land there. I was told definitively Hector Garcia, Lamont Roach will not be a part of that show.
So they still don't have a date.
I believe we will get a date sometime next week because there's other fights that are expected to be announced as well. So I know the IBF said that Subriel Matias has to honor his mandatory next, but my understanding is that that fight with Lipinets is still going to happen, that Ergashev is going to get the winner. I'm expecting that fight to be announced formally next week as part of a show. I don't want to give too much away, but I do expect at least Matias and Lipinets to take place in August. I'm not 100% sure on Garcia and Roach. I don't know if it's going to be a Showtime event or going to be part of one of these big pay-per-views that are coming up. All I know is it's there's everyone involved in that fight does not seem to believe that Garcia and Roach will take place August 12th.
Undisputed.
Hi everyone.
I mean, but what's good? You see the videos I posted on Twitter?
No, I haven't been on Twitter that often, but I just want to say thanks for having me.
Hold on. I was showing it was videos of a guy riding through rough neighborhoods in America. I'm pretty sure that's where you do the same videos you be watching.
Which one?
Is that true? I'll have to DM to you. But go ahead. Man.
So yeah, I mean, I woke up this morning on the way to work and I saw the news about Jermell, Charlo, and Canelo Alvarez. Jake, I want to believe that you knew something about this before we all found out. If you do know, please tell me, how did this even come about? Because I wasn't expecting to see that. I thought they made a mistake on the poster, to be honest with you. I really thought this was, wow, this is terrible on PBC. How can you make this mistake? Until I saw that it was actually real. So I guess my question is this: why?
When I saw that Canelo tweet what he did and post on Instagram, the very first question I asked to someone who was intimately involved: did Canelo fuck up the announcement, or is he really fighting Mel? That that caught me completely off guard. I'm not going to be one of these people who pretended, oh yeah, I found out and I had to keep my mouth shut. No, that is not the case. I thought up until he made that announcement, he was fighting Mel. As for 168, Canelo was the 168 champ. Jermell Charlo is daring to be great, and we should celebrate it.
But full 168 is kind of unfair, though.
Look, I love it. Jermell Charlo is daring to be great. So,
man, we ain't trying to hear this negativity. All right, man. If you don't like the fight, change the channel.
I like the fight. I think Jermell is taking a big risk. One, I think they could.
Yeah, yes. That's what great fighters do. They take big risks. That's how they become legends. This is what they do. This is what the sport has always been about. Did anyone tell Henry Armstrong, hey, you shouldn't be trying to move up in weight so much, little Henry Armstrong? No one tells him that. Did anyone tell Roy Jones you shouldn't try to move up to heavyweight? Did anyone tell all these guys who've done it in the past? We got 5-weight world champions. We got 6-weight world champions. Manny Pacquiao started with pennies in his pocket, okay? And he went all the way up to basically like 154. This is what the greats always do. This is the history of the sport. And PBC is having a throwback year where the best fight the best. We don't give a damn about what anybody else is saying. All we care about is making the big events, the big fights that the fans want to see.
This is true. Sir. This is true. Two-tone, check your DM.
Yeah, I had a question again. Hey, Jake, real quick. We saw like a cryptic tweet from Richardson Hitchens about possibly fighting Regis. Has there been any talk about like a Regis next fight or any of that?
My understanding last week when I was told that Montana Love was injured is that the fight would be rescheduled, that Montana Love is not completely pulling out of that fight. I was always told that Montana Love is either fighting Richardson Hitchens or he has no option. He's going to have to find his own next move, and it won't be with Matchroom. So, to my knowledge, that fight is going to be rescheduled. Now, granted, if Regis Prograis needs a fight and Richardson Hitchens, he's certainly willing to jump in with Eddie 140. I could see that fight happening. But as far as I know, he and Montana Love are waiting on a rescheduled date.
Ezra?
Yesterday, there was a rumor that Janibek and Bentley were talking about a rematch for God knows what reason.
Yeah.
Please confirm that this is just hearsay and rumors and false lies on Janibek's name.
We're talking so much about like people complaining about Eddie Hearn shitting on like all everything that's going on over here, anyone who succeeds. But I feel like because boxing has become such a global sport, especially like with Zone and like everything else that's trickled over on this side, like we're forced to care about too much UK boxing. There's stuff that's important to the UK media that we just shouldn't care about. And that is one of those
Thank you. I
fights.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
You gotta mute yourself, MVO.
Oh shit! I didn't know I was muted. I wasn't muted. Sorry. But y'all do hear I'm good at my job, though, right? Y'all heard that? I just wanted y'all to hear that.
So you saying they lying on, but that
I'm not saying they're lying. I'm just saying I don't care.
No, I'm talking about Ezra saying they lying on
Right.
his name, but that came from Frank Warren, right? Didn't it come from this side? His side, I'm sorry. Supposedly from this manager. Ain't that when it was a quote directly attributed
From
to
Denzel Bentley's manager, right? That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not. Excuse me. They're not lying on his name. They just, I don't know, maybe trying to get Bentley's name out there.
Yeah, I can understand why Denzel Bentley would want another shot, but
it doesn't surprise me that they're trying to raise up someone's name by using Janibek. It doesn't surprise me. Okay, there. Yeah.
So I'm sure. I would like to think that Top Rank and Janibek are going to wait out whatever happens today in Germany. A fight that's completely off the radar. A fight that Top Rank cares so little about that they couldn't even bother to put that on their app, but they're putting, the Franchon Cruz Savannah Marshall show on ESPN Plus. So, but Esquiva Falcao is actually fighting for a middleweight title, and if he wins, he could easily fight Janibek in a unification in a fight that is the only meaningful matchup to either one of them. But
that's crazy because I was told 160 is better than 154.
I see a lot of people swinging from the head. Look, I saw the tweet, about that in the picture. It specified that Mel versus Canelo is the first male undisputed, but the tweet itself, the stories that were accompanied to it, they all left out the other fight that took place. A lot of people come from my head, but that same account is the one who claimed that 160,
and rightfully so.
But that same account is the one who claimed that Mel does not belong in the top 10 because 154 is one of the weakest divisions of boxing.
Whenever they shoot at Jake, I get excited. Yes.
Sooner or later, well, after Mel wins, that tweet is going to age like milk. Like milk. Go ahead, Undisputed.
Just want to ask you guys' opinions because I'm still forming my own. I do actually believe that Charlo, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually don't feel like he's going to be overmatched. But how do you feel he actually wins the fight? If this was pre-2021, so pre-Caleb Plant, I would have been picking Canelo 100%. But now I feel Jermell can do it. But how do you think he actually does it?
That's a good question. I guess the best way I could say it is that Jermell is a better finisher than a starter. And I could just see him being patient, not giving away the fight, but just riding out.
I do this.
Yeah, well, you should have seen that Jake said, listen, he ain't even he's filling in. You never know what can happen. We got to see how the hand is healed.
Right now, hey.
Yeah, man. Now,
I am confident in a male victory.
Me too.
If there has been anybody who has fought the right competition in order to win this fight, it's Mel. In order to be prepared for Canelo, it's Mel. Like people don't want to give him his credit, but I've been saying since he was a prospect. I've been saying that since he was a prospect, you've seen he's taken on good, tough fights, good, different style matchups. He's seen just about everything there is to be seen in that ring.
And it learned from two of the best in the sport.
And I think he went through the gauntlet at 154. Hey, he really had to get it out the mud to become undisputed. So he's battle tested. So I don't think he will be outmatched in a war of attrition.
Brandon, you have a question?
I do. Thank y'all for letting me come up. If you're David Benavidez this morning, like, how are you feeling about this? Why it's like seeing that it's the 154 Charlo coming up, because that would mean they skipped you twice basically in this process. So it's like, how are you feeling this morning?
Benavidez would do the same thing if he were Jermell.
I mean,
when you say they skipped twice, who's the they you referring
well, I
to?
mean, Charlo, big Charlo pulled out. That's what was reported that he pulled out.
Yeah, but I got that part. But who's the they that skipped Benavidez?
I mean, I guess that's what I'm saying. Like his man, like Al, I would say Al, right? I mean, he had to have a partner.
Nah, come on. Al don't tell Canelo who to fight. Let's stop right there. Let's just stop.
So
let's just stop that narrative right there before people run with it. Al Heyman does not tell Canelo who he's gonna fight.
You get presented.
That's what I'm saying. You can present like who's doing the presenting is what I'm saying. Like
I'm sure he was prevented.
This is the thing. All promoters do this. These are 3 fights you can take. This is how much you get paid for each fight.
And that's what I'm talking about. And my name ain't like, is my name brought up? Like, how am I getting skipped? This is the second time. Like, it's obviously the biggest fight everybody wants. So like, if I'm waking up this morning, I'm highly annoyed at this. And so I'm asking y'all, like, who is your anger directed at this point?
I would want to believe that David Benavidez knew in some capacity, especially before all of us, that this fight was going to happen. So I don't think he found out the same. I want to believe he did not find out the same time we did.
I hope he did. And he could blame nobody but Samson. Nobody told Samson to get blocked by Reynoso. Okay? That is all on Samson. Thank you.
Yeah.
To me, it says like that just Al has a plan for Benavidez that does not include Canelo.
I think Canelo's plan doesn't include Benavidez.
Well, I mean, again, that's a discussion that would have taken place between him, Eddie Reynoso, and Al and his immediate team.
Can I jump in here for a second?
Go ahead.
Was that Brandon? I believe that was Brandon speaking. Yes. If you recall, Brandon, immediately after the Ryder fight, I think it was the Ryder fight, Jermell Charlo went live and said, somebody tell Eddie Hearn I want to fight Canelo. I don't know who's doing the presenting the matchmaking, but let's set up Undisputed versus Undisputed. Do you remember that?
I definitely remember that. So, but I mean, like that's all it takes.
That's how his name
got
into the conversation because he said, I want to fight Canelo.
Listen, I get it. I'm just saying, like, listen, for like none of these dudes have done shit at 168 is what my point. Like, and I've been in line for 2 years as the number one. I done won the belt twice. I'm the interim. And you mean tell me a video saying I want to fight Canelo, that's all it takes? I'm pissed off. I mean, I'm just thinking from his perspective.
Your question was, how did his name get on the list of people that were offered?
No. My question was, how did I get skipped? That was my question.
Listen to what I'm saying. You said, who's doing the presenting, right? So if I have a list of fighters, I got David Benavidez, I got Jermell Charlo said, put my name on the list, right? So now his name is on the list. So at that point, Canelo, who's the A side, who's the biggest star in boxing, he gets to pick who he wants to fight on that list.
And I just want to jump in and say, I think that David knew because, a week ago we had him there was a video of him in the gym, and he said that he was trying to actively make the Munguia fight or the Morrell fight, right? So at that moment, I mean, I think it was Munguia, and I think he said they could potentially revisit Morrell. So, like Jake said, I think he probably already knew some things that we didn't know, because that video he seemed pretty focused on Jaime Munguia.
Well, yeah, we would assume that he knew he thought it was Jermell Charlo, right? So if Jermell they said, I think they reported that this happened all in one day yesterday. Like Jermell stepped up. So that's where I would be annoyed again. Okay, like, what do you mean?
We're not doing that. We're not.
I mean, hold on. Who would you be annoyed
exactly.
at? Who would you be annoyed at?
And who says
the question is who reported. The question is who reported.
I mean, because we saw. Okay, we saw. I mean, so who's he going? Who in your mind? Who should Benavidez be upset with?
That's what I'm at. That's really what I was asking y'all, because I'm thinking, I'm trying to figure out who. I just know that I would be annoyed if I was him, seeing that Jermell stepped up in one day to get the fight. That's all I'm saying. You know, you go from Jermell to Jermell instead of me. Like, how the fuck you go from them? These guys who ain't never fought at 68 to not me. Like, and it's the biggest fight everybody asking for.
Well,
that's my thing.
I guess my clarifying question is, when you say he stepped up in one day, where is that coming from?
I think that came from Cobbinger.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Right. So that's my point. We're going on the premise that everyone woke up Friday morning still believing Canelo was going to fight Jermell, and including Jermell and Jermell both woke up Friday morning thinking that. And I don't believe that. I think anyone intimately involved in the fight, including the potential guys in that conversation, which would include David Benavidez, knew before that came out.
I got a question.
I don't know. Go ahead.
Do y'all think, putting aside that he should fight Benavidez and all that kind of stuff, we understand that, but from a viewer standpoint, do you think that this fight is bigger than Benavidez, this Mel fight?
Yes, 100%. I led the show with that. I think this is the best case scenario for Canelo. That Jermell is a bigger attraction than any other name in PBC verse that you could bring up that is available to fight him in September.
So
the only exception would be if Errol Spence moved all the way up, but he's obviously not available because he's fighting Terrence Crawford next.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I mean, that given if Spence beats Crawford, I think that fight will happen later on the line for some reason. But what was I about to say? No, I'm done. I forgot what I was about to say.
No, you're fine. And this is why I know Lefty brought it up that he thought last week when we were all under the assumption it was going to be Canelo versus Jermell. Lefty brought up the theory that he could possibly fight Errol next. I always thought that if Errol was in the conversation, he would be last on that list.
Yeah,
just because to me that's the absolute biggest fight.
And you know what's funny? I even way back in 2018, I said to myself, I feel like Errol Spence and Canelo will fight down the line for some reason. I don't know. It's just it's a crazy matchup, but I just felt like that would always happen. Like it's just.
Earl got his hands full with this fight.
Do you think the fight still happens if he loses to Bud? Because you're saying that on the premise that he beats Crawford, but if he doesn't,
if he loses to Bud, then I think that fight kind of dwindles. You know what I'm saying? But if he does beat Bud and he goes up to 154 or something like that, I feel like if he does beat Bud, then that fight is destined to happen at some point.
Wait, did Mel Charlo lose to Canelo already?
What happened?
Help me out here. Did Mel lose to Canelo already?
I get what you're saying.
Oh, did Mel lose to Canelo? Oh, did Mel lose to Canelo? In my opinion, yeah, I think he does. In a good fight, though.
All right, Wayne, don't come up here with that trolling shit. You gonna get removed. What's your question?
Hey, I think I'm trolling, but hey, do you think Jake Paul and Tommy Fury saved the?
Okay. What we got next?
Damn, we removed them at the same time, Lefty.
Yeah, that had no bearing. I don't understand that. What was that about? What?
We're about to remove you too, man.
Stop.
Talk too goddamn much. It's enough. Who else got a question? My man Remy got a question. Remy, what's your question, Remy? This is live, Remy. Hit the microphone.
I kind of came in late when y'all. About like, was that Lefty?
Yeah, getting this fight, you can't put a fighter's name into a deal.
My bad, Remy. I didn't mean to remove you. I just heard Edgar Berlanga name mentioned with Canelo, and I forgot that was you talking. Come on, guy. Come on. Yeah. So Jake.
Yes.
Besides this big fight, obviously astronomical fight, we have officially entered the month of July, which means we got Stephen Fulton versus Inoue coming up first, and then the big one. Now, a lot of people talking about Stephen Fulton's training habits, that maybe he wasn't training as hard as we would hope, and that he was maybe doing stuff behind the scenes. Have you heard anything about that?
A lot of people.
No, I've never heard.
Yeah, a lot of people.
I'm gonna say
All right,
that
it
was
was me.
definitely not
It
on
was me.
radar.
It was
NVO,
me.
you're the only one that heard that
It
shit.
was me.
Yeah.
It was me. All right, it was
I
me.
will say this: the only thing, look, I don't question Stephen Fulton's training at all. I think he's going to be 100% prepared. I was not over the moon about him sparring with Scrappy Ramirez. That kind of caught me off guard.
Who's that?
He's I don't even know where to begin with him, but he is a 100, I think 115 pounder or 112. He is not anywhere nearly as good as he thinks he is. His wannabe personality far exceeds his talent.
So he's like a little Rolly.
He's more of a sidekick. It's like if Zulo Ramirez and Rolly had a kid.
I don't know if y'all care for this news or whatever, but breaking news: Top Rank has signed the best heavyweight prospect, Bak Hodir Jalalov. Has signed
Oh, what is it?
multi-year
Co-promotion?
Huh? Yeah.
Co-promotion?
With DeBella,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Isn't
DeBella told us,
still
if
around?
y'all ain't here a couple days ago, DeBella told us that Jalalov will be fighting 2 times this year.
Is he going to be on the Cambosos card?
He didn't say which card. He just said he'd be fighting this summer, and then he'll have another fight this year. So
We'll
they're signing
flush out that news.
the best heavyweight prospect in the game, who's about to come in here and wipe out all these other pretenders.
I think Top Rank will either move him brilliantly or find a way to get him beat on purpose. That is my prediction.
You said they're gonna find a way to get him beat.
I said either they'll move.
No, I can step in right now and beat Fury. Could beat Usyk. Can beat Joyce. Well, okay, I'm going to let you.
What I said though, that's what I'm saying. If he is that guy,
the top half of the heavyweight division.
Who's this guy?
If he is that guy,
say what?
He's the gold medal. He won the gold medal in the Tokyo Olympics.
He beat Torres and he beat this other guy that's on the Spence undercard, right? Is he on Spence undercard?
Who's that?
The whore. Man, Jay, you know, I can barely pronounce these American names.
Big God. No, but that's what I said. I said, like I said, Top Rank. If Jalalov is that guy, Top Rank will be the promoter to move him in that direction. If they find out he's not that guy, they'll find a way to get him beat. That is what they do with fighters who either pan out or they know it's not going to work out. The truth will come out on the Top Rank's regime.
All right, Marshall, go ahead.
How you doing, Jake? How you doing, Lefty? You all right, MVO?
Hey, Marshall, I do not know who in the UK will be carrying Canelo.
Oh, no. Yeah. That's all right. That's all right. I just wanted to ask, I think Team Eddie Earn said in an interview yesterday or the day before that Team Wilder was in London and they was having meetings with for Joshua and Wilder with skills challenge and that. I was just wondering if you how them talks went or anything.
Jake don't know what the hell you talking about.
That skill challenge. Representatives from that company was in London to finalize that deal. But, what deal are we talking about now? Are they going to fight in December? And, if we still get Fury, is that going to happen in January? Is it even the same deal? So what deal are they finalizing? They're trying to finalize August 12th for Joshua.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It just seems like a lot of moving parts that they're definitively going to fight in December, and yet they're both going to fight separately in August. And I thought you said Team Eddie Hearn. I thought you meant like Charlie Parsons.
Go ahead.
I know you just meant that.
Thanks.
Thanks, Marshall. Always appreciate you.
Yo, what's going on, everybody?
Hey.
Yo, real quick. Do we have an update on Spence? Fucking
yes. He's fighting July 29th.
Sturman. No, Ugas Sturman.
If what I'm hearing is right, we should get an announcement next week.
Okay,
that's a good fight, man.
Yeah,
but
if we're also talking about Deontay Wilder fighting around the same time, I don't know how would it impact that fight.
So, do you think we get in at the end of August, or is it going to be pushed off to the fall?
If
And then also, is Lara Garcia still going on for the end of August, or what's going on with that?
The original plan, so once upon a time, Arizona Lara and Danny Garcia was supposed to headline an August 5th Showtime date that is no longer in place. Then there was talks maybe it headlines August 12th. Then maybe it gets paired up with Thurman and Ugas as, like not a low budget pay-per-view, but a lower ends pay-per-view than what else we have going on. Honestly, I don't know if that is still
I'll spend my money
still
on
the
that.
plan. Yeah.
And then another question, last one. Now that Jermell Charlo is out, what do we got as far as like an update as far as him coming back? Does he need more time with his personal issues, or what's going on?
So now, while I believe everyone that needed to know that Canelo was fighting Jermell instead of Jermall, I believe they knew before Friday. I'm not sure the sanctioning bodies were as up to speed. So I think Mauricio is going to use that as a reason to process it and then figure out what's next. I can't see any scenario where he either fights Adames or is named champion of recess. But that's for the WBC and those representing Adames to enforce, because I don't blame. Maul has the right to hold on to that title as long as he wants to and as long as he's told he can. He shouldn't have to voluntarily give it up. But I just, like I said, I don't know, this, the news, we're still less than 24 hours away from yesterday's bombshell. So, and the people I asked, I think they're all still processing it.
All right. And do you think Danny Jacobs could potentially step in as an opponent for him?
He's training to fight somebody. Danny is coming back in the second half. I don't know who against.
All right, thanks.
Well, I said Danny Jacobs will have a tune-up first before jumping into a big fight. Okay, so what? Go ahead, A-side. Then I got a question.
Hey, my bad, Jake. But again, real quick, like you just said, with the sanctioning bodies now, we do know that the WBO had ordered this fight with Tim Tszyu and Charlo to take place before September 30th. So, yeah. I mean, the way Tszyu is tweeting as if he didn't take step aside money. So, what do you think is going to happen in that situation?
Yeah, I find it interesting because, again, I see reporters, they keep trying to jump in and act like they're just right on top of it. I've seen I forget who it was. They claim that Tszyu's team was fine with the announcement. Tszyu clearly is not. Otherwise, he would not have tweeted what he tweeted or, posted what he posted. So the WBO ruling says the fight had to take place on or before September 30th. Unless they just want to be complete dicks and strip Jermell Charlo outright, I can see him entering the ring as undisputed champion. And then regardless of what happens that night, he does not leave that ring as, recognized as the WBO junior middleweight champion. So there's no reason really for them to act right now on it, especially since we know Tim is not going to fight anytime sooner than, I would even say September, maybe, October. He was, even with that ruling, he thought he was going to fight Jermell in October. So, but because the way that is worded, they would have to reword it in order to strip him any sooner than that.
Copy. Appreciate you.
Yeah, of course. Now that said, Team Tszyu has not I asked about that. I've not gotten a direct response as to whether or not they're going to take any action with the WBO. So again, we're all, I think as time trickles on, everyone's going to start making their moves. Right now, everyone's just still trying to wrap their head around what happened yesterday.
Okay, I had a question. Shakur Stevenson, did you see his tweets yesterday?
About Jorge Leonard?
No, I mean just about really not having a fight lined up or something like that. What do you think is next for him?
I don't know. I think everyone's kind of waiting out Devin Haney if he's going to stick around. I guess if he sticks around at 135, whoever has the right to name themselves as mandatory can enforce that fight. I still don't know if it's Shakur. I'm confused by Shakur being the mandatory.
DCJB, if when you come up, mute your mic until you're called on because we can hear the background noise. But go ahead.
Yeah. No, but again, to my knowledge, Shakur should be the mandatory with the WBC. But I think Lomachenko is ranked ahead of him right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But again, it all depends on if Haney's going to stick around at 135 or move to 140. We don't know what promoter he's signing with yet. This is where the sanctioning bodies, they want to talk about what they do with their money. Well, this is what you need to do with the position of power that you're in. You need to, tell Devin Haney, look, what's going on? Which title are you going to defend? That'll dictate Shakur's next move. So I expect, unless Devin moves up, if Devin doesn't move up, I don't know if the WBC is even in a position to order that fight next. I would think I could see Shakur getting one more fight. I hope to God it's not Jorge Leonard.
You can see him fighting who?
I said I can see him taking one more fight before getting to the title, unless Devin gives up the belts. But I said I hope to God that is not Jorge Linares, and I cannot see that fight happening or landing as an ESPN main event.
All right, go ahead, MC.
Hi. Any updates on Brandon Figueroa?
No, I'm still waiting to hear whether or not he's fighting Ray Vargas. I will be in a position to get a better update on that next week when I'm in San Antonio for the Roger Ortiz and Montestanione fight. And happy belated birthday.
Thank you. It's today.
Yes.
Then
Today. Well, happy birthday. Okay, good. I'm glad I didn't miss it.
Thank you. And then the other question is, we've been seeing Joe Cordina going back and forth with Foster. Any updates on that?
No, I tweeted. I think it was A-Side that actually. It was either A-Side or Gritty. I'm sorry. I don't want to give the wrong credit, but
yeah, that was
it was you. That's what I thought. That Cordina wants that fight, and I tweeted. I love that he put it out there. He wants a direct response from everyone involved. If Shaki Foster has in fact priced himself out of that fight, and that if he hasn't, that's the fight he absolutely wants next. And again, I go back to us having to care too much about UK boxing on every level. Look, I'm sure a fight between him and Zolfa Barrett is. Perfectly fine over there. It's just another fight.
Could demand, but facts are facts. Foster couldn't sell out his living room. Wood Warrington winner versus Cordina is a 15,000+ event.
Yeah. I respect his response. He's going by what Matchroom told him, but
I just want to see the good fights, Jake. That's it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't. There's nothing. Look, Cordina, that's a profile fight, whether he fights Lee Wood or especially Josh Warrington. And again, even going back to Lee Wood, like he has a fight. He's supposed to fight Kolmatov next. I get that Lee Wood and Josh Warrington is a big event in the UK. Josh Warrington has one win since the pandemic, and that was in a title fight that he probably shouldn't have gotten before Lara.
Well, it's all about the event.
Right. So I don't care about either one of those.
I understand what I ain't gonna say he outpriced himself. I don't believe that, but I understand the fight he's trying to make because he needs more big UK events.
Right.
So yeah, I understand what he's trying to do.
Yeah, he needs to build up his profile. I get that. You can't go right in and say,
they need more big UK events.
Right.
So I understand why he would want Cordina to face the winner of Wood versus Warrington because this is a big event.
That's
Foster
if that
may
fight
not
happens,
be a big event and he'll lose.
Right.
I mean, bottom line is this is a business and they got to protect their revenue. So I totally get why they would do it, but lying about saying he's overpriced, I don't agree with that.
Yeah. So now let me say this though. I misread the tweet. I thought he meant that Joe Cordina would fight either Wood or Warrington. If they're going to wait out Wood Warrington, a fight that might not even happen, Joe Cordina still needs someone to fight in the meantime.
I think he's fighting Zelfa first, and then he fights that winner, from my understanding. Okay, DCJB, go ahead with your question. Danny Christopher, go ahead with your question. You have to unmute your mic.
You scared him. There we go.
Yo.
Hey.
Go ahead with your question. You better hurry up before Matt pack you up.
I already removed him. Sorry.
See?
I ain't got time for that. Come on, man. Like he trying to hit the blunt in between questions. Like, what the fuck was that?
I'm trying to give you some leeway. I had somebody mention that a possible fight for Shakur this year, later on this year, is Tevin Farmer in Jersey.
Who gives a fuck about that?
Yeah, I mean, Tevin Farmer did finally come back. He won last week.
He fought?
Yeah, he beat Avery Sparrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, last week, an all Philly fight.
When's the Mickey Bay fight?
Man.
Jesus Christ.
I feel horrible. Mickey gave up so much to go all in for that fight, and he got screwed out of it at least 3 times.
You know, maybe ESPN was right. Maybe boxing does need to be fixed because these fights that y'all be asking about, come on, man.
Yeah.
What about Jermaine Ortiz?
He's gonna have to prove he can make weight. He blew a golden opportunity.
Why can't he fight him at 140?
Who, Shakur?
Yeah.
Why would Shakur take that fight?
He's saying he don't have a fight, and it's hard to make a fight. He said Loma turned him down. I mean, until Devin Haney gets his belt situation straightened out, why not go to 140 and fight Ortiz? Yeah. I mean, Tank did it for Barrios.
Right.
I mean, if your options are Tevin Farmer or Dennis, what's the new name? Dennis Broncher, whatever the fuck is his name.
Baranchek. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if those are your options, make the better fight. Me, I would love to see T.O. versus Shakur at 140 for the WBO belt. Now, I will pay for that.
Yeah, that's a good.
Go ahead, King P.
Teo wants to be a broadcaster.
What's going on, Jake?
Yeah, but hold up. But Teo's complaining about money.
I know.
And Shakur is saying he don't have an opponent. Yeah. I'm pretty sure you can entice Teo to fight Shakur.
Questions for you. First off, how did it feel to get packed up by the Twitter community for your Chantel Cameron, Katie Taylor tweet? That's first.
I felt glorious. I couldn't read half of them because it kept saying my the stupid error. So.
Oh, they was probably calling you a bald-headed stooge. That's why.
I've been called that plenty of times, including by you. Perfectly fine with that. Long come to grips with
that. But anyways, with Jermell Charlo fighting Canelo now, and it said that it's going to be at the 168 limit or whatever it is, 168 or not. Do we even see Jermell going back to 154? Like, I don't know if because now with the belts and Tim Tszyu still got to get his shot at the title, and then the other guy, so it's like, could we even see them stepping in to take the belts away, or what do you think with that situation?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of touched on earlier. I mean, we're still too far out to even fully analyze Mel's great chances in that fight. Obviously, a win completely changes the equation. But if you're everyone else at 154, you have to realize that you're not getting a title shot in 2023. So it's like, how do you even motivate those other guys to fight each other? It's like we gave Tim Tszyu credit for staying active, but it's like, what's his end game other than being upgraded to WBO champ? So that's the kind of the move I want to see next. Whether or not Mel moves back down, I want to see how the sanctioning bodies react. Bakaram has been a mandatory. It's going to be going on for years and has given no reason for anyone to care about him. So it's just, a weird place for the division right now. I think the key will be if Tszyu is upgraded to full champ. That would, create a lot more opportunity.
True. What about this fight tonight? This other heavyweight, the co-main,
Makhmudov. Yeah. He's good. He's good. I don't know if he's as good as his record. I think he should win spectacularly tonight. Not really blown away with screwing up in there. I think Akabigioli, but I think Makhmudov should win. I think he'll look a lot better than he did against Carlos Takam. That fight kind of, I don't know, I had some concern about that. He looked good, not great in that fight, but for all the hype that went around his career, I thought he should have looked a lot better in that fight than was actually the case. So I'm not sure tonight will necessarily reveal how great he can be. I think he'll need another step up after this, but I think, this is a great opportunity for him to look spectacular tonight.
Thanks.
Yeah, Akabigioli is trained by Glenn Johnson, though, who's one of my all-time favorite fighters. So I love
know
that
he was training fighters now.
Yeah, he was actually promoting for the longest too.
Hey, Jake. I'm sorry, man. So I think we just seen some news that was saying that Dan Aziz was out of play for Bivol. So if Dan Aziz is going to possibly move forward with the Buatsi fight, what do we see for Bivol?
I don't know about that. That's such a bizarre situation. I don't know why there's so much hoopla over the availability of Dan Aziz, but yeah, that's my understanding was, and Rob touched on it last week, that the Buatsi fight was very much in play, but that any announcement that they were fighting August 19th was very premature and seemingly ruled out, since Buddy McGirt will be with Callum Smith that night in his fight against Artur Beterbiev. So we will get Buatsi Aziz. I don't know when. As for Bivol, he's kind of in no man's land right now.
You got Vosik.
There's look, we talk about it every week. We talk about common sense, all these fights that can be made, but everyone keeps, they want to run a mile instead of going, just going right to the next the easiest place. So Vosik just fought on the Canelo card, so that's an easy fight.
He's fought more this year than Bivol has.
Right.
And Jake, I'm sorry, this is my last question, but with this, we was talking before. We was talking about Jermell Charlo getting this Canelo fight, and I remember it was a bunch of variables to that. So, with that, now that he's not getting a fight, it don't look like Maul gonna be fighting soon. This David Benavidez situation should be a little clearer, no? Because I mean, he's not gonna rematch Caleb Plant immediately. So it got to look like either Andrade or possibly Morrell, no?
Yeah. So I mean, look, Benavidez is the one. He and Mugia both spoke about. They wanted that fight, but Mugia, he did an interview. I wrote a story on it. Wants the Benavidez fight, but he plans to fight in November, and then he's looking at Benavidez next year. That he doesn't see that fight happening next. So I'm with you. That goes right. That I think Benavidez maybe was irritated that people were putting it out there that the fight with Morrell was a done deal. Maybe he just wants it to be on his terms before he is on board, with everyone else's statement on that. I do believe that will be the fight we get next.
I just don't want Benavidez versus Vladimir Shishkin when we could get, when we could get the Morrell fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm with you. And especially if Benavidez is at a point where he's going to be on pay-per-view. I don't know if that's going to be the case from here on out, but if his next fight is a pay-per-view and Munguia is out, Dave Morrell would be the only sensible option.
This is just a question that's got to be thrown out there. I'm pretty sure we all know the answer, but Tyson Fury, Frank Warren said he has an announcement that's going to break the internet.
Okay.
You got anything?
Nope. Nope.
He said it wasn't Ngannou. So
he's making it seem like it's not Usyk's. They seem convinced that Fury's going to fight Daniel Dubois next. I mean, as far as like his, for undisputed.
Yeah,
Tyson Fury versus David Haye. Come on, book it.
I mean, Frank Warren has to say that. You can't say
of course.
My guy is going to lose. He has to say, he's going to fight. I mean, when are you going to officially announce that fight?
What, Usyk and Dubois?
Yeah.
To me, Alex Krasik putting it out there saying the fight's happening August 26th and he's the lead promoter. That's good enough for me, unless he changes his mind again. But the fight was supposed to be August 12th. He said it's going to take place August 26th in conjunction with, I think, Ukraine's Independence Day, which is 2 days before. So that's his whole motivation of putting it on August 26th. So I have not heard anything to the contrary.
Yeah, me either. I haven't heard anything, including an announcement.
Right.
An official announcement, I should say. Like, check box work. Well, Boots fight wasn't on there until this week either. So he wasn't on box work until this week either. Yeah. Jake, you had a baby? Did you tweet out you had a baby?
Me?
Yeah.
No, hell no.
No, he didn't have a baby. He said a fight was on the anniversary of when he had his youngest kid.
No.
Okay.
No. That's not what it was. So, Domingo Herman pitched a perfect game the other night. So, the last time a Yankee pitcher pitched a perfect game was David. I actually deleted it because I put David Wells, but it was actually David Cohn who pitched a perfect game less than an hour before my youngest child was born in 1999. Yes.
My bad. I must have read it wrong.
So, yes, we had a baby 24 years ago.
4 Yankee pitchers to throw a perfect game in Yankee history.
Don Larson, David Wells, David Cohn, Domingo Herman.
Wow, this guy is great. This guy is
That's
great.
kind of an easy question if you're a Yankee.
I'm glad you said it was 4. I didn't know it was only 4, but since you said that number,
But why'd you count Larson? So I lost the bet the other day because they counted Larson because it's the playoffs.
It still counts.
That's the most fucking important time to
This is
throw a
so
perfect game.
stupid.
How is that stupid?
I had to take like 4 shots of Henny.
So that's intertwined my life. So with David Cohn throwing a perfect game when my youngest child was born, Domingo Germán's perfect game came an hour. The completion of it came an hour after my brother-in-law, who was in a coma since May 18th, spoke for the first time since then. So yeah,
Wow,
Yankee
that's a blessing.
perfection is completely intertwined with my family history. So yeah, that was yeah. So yeah, that was a
Great
huge
news.
update for us. Yeah.
Great news.
Hey, Yankees might throw another perfect game. You might start sprouting hair again.
All right, we got anything else? Any other questions? Anybody got any questions? Anything else? Over here. Seeing a lot of new faces in the room. Don't be afraid if you have a question to come up. So do not let MVO intimidate y'all.
Yeah.
He's a big softy.
Yeah, MVO's a teddy bear.
Yeah, we're not talking enough about Stanionis and Ortiz, which is already a week away.
When is that fight?
That's true.
Next week, next
What's
Saturday.
next week?
Oh, damn.
Yeah. I just had shout out, Leonard talk about, Kenneth Harry, who like is the guy who gets shit done and never wants to raise his hand. I asked him about who was handling the interviews for Stanionis. That interview was secured in less than 10 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. Shout out to my man, Ken.
Who's on the undercard?
Probably nobody you care about. Joseph Diaz is on it.
There you go. Yep.
Floyd Schofield is the co-feature.
Oh, my nephew.
Yes. And then Marlon Esparza is in a 3-belt unification bout. On
Never
the show
heard
as
of
well.
him.
It's a her.
He knows. No heavyweights, man. Sorry. No meat slap.
You don't remember her fight with since
Pause, Jake.
Estrada on the Canelo
Denise Estrada.
Kovalev undercard?
Nah.
One of the best women's fights you ever seen.
Yeah.
Because they fought 3-minute rounds instead of
3-minute rounds. Yes, they did. Yep.
The best women fights I ever see happens on Love and Hip Hop.
So you won't be tuning in today?
Nah.
Come on. You're not going to support franchise?
Oh, she's fighting. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yo, no, I'm watching that. I'm watching that.
Yeah.
I'm watching that. She better win. Because Savannah was talking real spicy. Let's talk women's boxing. Is that okay with you, Lefty?
Yes.
Now, this Shadeja Green chick, why is she talking like big shit about Franchon as if her name is out there? She should have tried to get on this undercard.
But
If
she
Jake
want to
Paul
fight the
really
best.
promoter,
She want
She's
to
the
fight the best.
She's the mandatory.
And she
She's
her
the mandatory.
mandatory in 2 fucking divisions.
damn, it's mad Jake's
She
on there. Oh
she
shit.
jumped the line. Like Savannah jumped the line. So yeah, she should be saying shit because
Yeah.
they should be upset.
Yeah,
Not only that, but the WBC ordered the fight and then took it away without Shadeza's blessing.
Exactly.
She had no say in that whatsoever. So she did get screwed out of that fight. I'm not
Nobody
saying
heard of
Franchon ducked
Shadeja
it.
Green but Truth.
So what? Because she's from Jersey. And she signed to Jake Paul, too. So Jake Paul heard of her.
Exactly.
And Jake Paul saved boxing.
Did she just sign to Jake Paul? Or?
She signed to him right before she fought on the Amanda Serrano, Erica Cruz on the club.
Okay.
She opened the show. Now, what I don't understand is why she's not going to be on Jake Paul's next show.
That's the question.
Because she said she can't find an opponent.
Because Franchon is ducking.
I don't know about that. Look, no, I know for a fact. Look, after Shadeja Green became the mandatory, Franchon's team, not Franchon herself, but her team, believed that the WBC was going to order that fight. They were prepared to win that fight to the point where they were going to put it on a location of their liking, and they were going to have no fans in attendance and not allow anyone from Jake Paul's team to attend. I don't know how they were going to get away with that, but they said they were going to win that purse bid and put it at Headbangers Gym. That was their plan. They were going to fight until the opportunity came to fight Savannah Marshall. Now, again, this goes back to the whole Tim Tszyu, Jermell Charlo fight. If you're presented with the opportunity to fight Jermell Charlo or you're presented with the opportunity to fight Canelo, you're going to fight Canelo. Franchon, you have the opportunity to make a mandatory against Shadeja, or you can make a lot of money fighting Savannah Marshall. You're going to fight Savannah Marshall.
See, but Franchon Cruz, her team had it right. That's why they should Tell us about it. Just tell us about the fight.
No, look,
like
I know a lot your feeling and a lot of people how they feel. Look, but it's not only that, Matchroom didn't even know what to do with her when they had her.
I like her.
Yeah, there's nothing to not like her. She was one of the first people who actually reached out to me when she found out about my brother-in-law. All while training for this fight. Yeah.
I like Frank John.
Yeah, I like her. I like Glenn. So great family.
Is she still with Snack?
I believe so. I saw the patch. So.
Nobody's perfect, I guess.
No, but I will say that she is, especially with the, all that shit that happened with the Jimenez fight, she's been a very, very big proponent of clean boxing. Not just with Snack. She's always been, in favor of more stringent drug testing. And she's been at the forefront.
I know that's right.
Oh, let's wish. She spoke up earlier. MC in the ring. Happy birthday to MC in the ring.
Yep.
Happy birthday.
You already did.
Huh?
I did. He's talking about the rest of us. I'm the only one who has.
Well, happy birthday to her.
I tweeted her happy birthday, but happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Right. And for those that be at the Virgil fight, she'll be in attendance. So buy her birthday drink.
Yeah. Yeah. I will be there Wednesday night.
What a great show. Stanionis versus Ortiz.
Sweet, baby.
Another banner year for PBC.
Say that again?
So it's going to be another banner year for PBC because he's going to beat the hell out of Virgil.
Yeah, no.
Telling you, man. Stanionis is about to be fighter of the year.
He about to beat the rhabdo out of Virgil. I'll tell you that, boy.
The only thing I will say, I will be completely shocked if that fight is not pure violence. Regardless if it's the route or 50-50. Yeah, if that is not just like heat from the opening bell.
We got any chance at Charlo versus Andre? They were talking about it together
Yeah, I have not ruled that out.
Okay.
I have not ruled that out. I've also not ruled out if Canelo gets past Jermell. I have not ruled out the possibility of Jamal getting back.
Yes, avenging his brothers. See, this is what I was telling people. Now, how'd you guys feel about Albert Berenstein stealing my idea for the PBC Super Bowl weekend, but making it Canelo?
We didn't care. His idea was great.
What was your idea again, Matt? I don't know.
So for Spencer Crawford,
I know.
One fight card.
Hold on, wait. Let Big Stack. You got a question?
Yeah. Hey, Jake. So
what's up?
What happens with Golden Boy, man? I mean, I'm out here in LA, but if Stanionis takes out Virgil, and where does Golden Boy go from here? Because as you know, I mean, they've already lost the Velasco Theater. They lost their club shows.
Wait, hold on. Before you answer, is that Oscar De La Hoya they're talking?
No, bro.
Come on, man.
He sounds just like him.
Everyone knows Big Stacks. Come on, man.
You don't know no goddamn Big Stacks.
Yes, I do. I've met Big Stacks. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. But that's it, man. I'm just wondering what happens with Golden Boy. They got the court case going on with Ryan. Yeah. They really don't have any champions. I mean, they're falling apart. So I don't know, man. Eric's already taken over. Pretty much taken over Golden Boy. They got rid of Michelada of Robert, their matchmaker. So it's like they're falling apart, bro. And if Virgil were to lose next weekend, I mean, I don't really know where Golden Boy goes from here.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I think Eric hasn't taken over enough. I've always said he needs to just completely run that company. Oscar could be the face of it. And look, it's nothing like as Floyd was nowhere nearly as toxic with Mayweather, but that shit got done with Mayweather Promotions because Leonard Ellerbe handled all that shit. Floyd obviously was involved, whatever capacity he felt he needed to be involved, but he had full trust in Leonard. Oscar is, I don't know. I just don't get his approach to anything. It's like, why would you shit on Belanga's fight last week when that's the best option for Munguia? Especially if you
because we're doing Munguia versus Benavidez.
But he knew he had to have known he was not getting that fight next. Munguia himself put it out there that fight's not happening. Munguia's best big fight that can happen next. The best case scenario for him is getting that Belanga fight, because that is a very winnable fight for him. But it's not in Oscar's nature.
He will beat Berlanga. Right.
But both of them, I would have to believe both of them believe they had the best shot against each other more so than any other big name. Not even big name, but
that's true.
Top fighter at 168.
That's true. Make it.
But it's not in Oscar's nature, though. I mean, he has even with his own. For the longest time, we always believed that Golden Boy put on the better shows, but Matchroom had the bigger budget. But Oscar, he just doesn't know how to handle it. He just has to be the most toxic person in the room every time he arrives, and that's always going to affect Golden Boy. So I do believe. Look, if Virgil, I'm not picking anyone yet. I like both of those guys equally. But if Virgil does not win, I don't think that'll be the end of Golden Boy. I think there's still a light at the end of the tunnel for them. But they've been stuck in limbo for the longest time, and they're just so erratic. You can never predict what's next for them.
Well, you still got. They're not big, but you still got Zepeda coming up.
Yeah, and you're talking about options for Shakur. That's a fight that needs to be revisited. Granted, I can understand why a fight like that would have to take place, with a vacant title, but
yeah, Zepeda has a fight coming up in August, but I think me and Huey was talking about this earlier. He's right under Loma in the WBC.
Yep.
Maybe the WBC will call a Loma versus Zepeda fight. That's a damn good fight, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You also have Rocha up and coming. They just
hey, Lef, Zepeda is number one in the WBA. So.
Yeah.
The WBA, yeah, but Tank is the that Tank could just be upgraded. Whatever happened with Devin, he'd just be upgraded to super champion, whatever the fuck they call him now.
Yeah. And I don't see Tank's a fighter.
But you also got you got Shakur in the WBO. Below him is Loma, but Loma's number one in the WBC. So I can see a possible Zepeda versus Loma matchup, which I would. Y'all like that fight?
No, I like that fight for sure.
Don't count Oscar out just yet. He's been on his deathbed before and bounced back.
No, that's one thing with Golden Boy. It's like I feel like the rest of the team kind of knows their play. They go through the ups and downs. They know when things are in a lull. They know how to dig themselves out. But the problem always goes back to Oscar. He always.
And I think letting go of the matchmaker was a budget thing.
Mm-hmm. A lot of the moves they've made has been budgetary.
Yeah, it's been budget. I don't think it was anything personal and shit like that. Because they let go of some other people also. He was just the biggest name in the
But they said, look, I got all the love in the world for Robert Diaz, but they've also put on 2 Fight of the Year contenders since they've let him go. Grant, he had a big hand in making one of them.
Okay, anything else before we end it?
I'm good. No more questions. Anything to plug? Hey, Si, you got anything coming up?
Yes, no.
Actually, no, I'm good. I ain't got nothing coming up, actually, man. We working, man. We just, going live and all of that.
All this big news and ain't nobody got no questions? I think I know what it is. I know what it is. Hello? I mean, Twitter ain't working, so it ain't like y'all got some shit to tweet about. You can't even read a fucking tweet.
Yeah.
When you coming back to the West Coast, Jake?
I don't know whether it's as a fan or as a reporter. I will be at Navarrete Valdez.
Okay, out in Arizona. All right.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know about California. It was weird. I was actually looking at a job opportunity now. I forget where. It wasn't LA, but it was somewhere in California.
Hey, Lef, I got a question. And maybe this.
Go ahead.
Maybe this was asked. Sonny Edwards and Bam. Where is this going to take place? Any rumors where it's going to take place?
I would believe that's. I said this last week too. Eddie said West Coast. I hope he understands U.S. geography enough to know that it's not Texas. My guess would be the Phoenix area, whether it's Phoenix or Glendale.
Oh, okay.
Especially for that late in the year, I don't know, I can't. I hope it's not a Dignity Health. If it's late November, early December.
So Sonny can come to the U.S.
He can come to the U.S. Yes. He's been saying that for more than a year.
And I got one more, and this is this might have been asked, but I'm just curious. They said that Tyson Fury's next fight will be groundbreaking, or whatever the hell they chose. What could they mean by that?
Yeah, I know. Lefty asked that before. I'm to be honest, I just don't care.
I respect that answer.
Maybe it's a metaverse fight.
Oh, did you see that last night, Jake?
I saw clips of it. I saw yeah.
So to get this straight, they put on the Oculus Prime and fought.
No, they fought each other. I'm telling you, they legit fought each other.
So why was it looking like Oculus
I don't know
Prime?
why they made it look like that. I don't get that, but they did made it look like that. But they were legit fought each other.
So
yeah, that makes no sense.
Do you have any footage of those who actually fighting each other?
Without it looking like a video game? Yeah. No, but okay. Let me tell you something. They
I'm telling you what they did. They put on the Oculus Prime and they start. Ain't that what they did, Jake?
That's what I thought. Yeah.
They literally.
I didn't know it was a virtual. You got.
They clinched each other. The ref had to break them up. So there's no way they fought an Oculus Prime and still clinched each other with the ref having to break it up.
Can't you clinch in a video game?
Yeah, but this wasn't that kind of clinch. Okay. This would be like groundbreaking.
You can still clinch in a video game.
This would be groundbreaking movement for a video game to pull off. It'd be groundbreaking, like to capture.
It was a
Okay, so how did
groundbreaking
they make it
event.
look like a video game? Were they in green suits with the
no?
things? Video game mimic their movement.
That's what I'm telling you.
Unless somebody can send me the footage of them actually fighting, I'm gonna still believe it's in the metaverse. Somebody got to explain this to me because I don't get it. Mike was explaining it yesterday because I don't see how they could make it look like a cartoon if they're really fighting.
Yeah, they made it look like a cartoon, but they were really fighting. And they show it because there's a part where the guy's jump roping, and they show how they did it. Like they kind of did the same technology to him jump roping.
Okay.
Whatever it is, I hope it doesn't catch on.
Real quick, one for the panel. I don't know if you guys seen that clip by Max Kellerman talking about the scoring. But what do you guys feel about what he was talking about as far as going 10-8, 10-7?
Nah, it was a whole bunch of bullshit. That was a whole bunch of bullshit.
You know what's funny about that? He scored a fight after that, and he didn't have no 10-8 rounds. So he didn't even follow his own max scoring system.
Right.
Well, we ain't got to listen to this shit no more because he's no longer at ESPN unless he get a fucking podcast.
Yeah, someone will pay or overpay for a service. I just don't know in what capacity, and I can't see it being in boxing.
Yeah, because he instead of being like he used to be and just being honest about the shit, he done picked a side and say some dumb shit. And then when you do shit like that, you turn off a lot of fans.
Yep.
I was never a fan of Max. Like MVO, he has come to the conclusion. He's finally seen the light about who I've been trying to tell him Max Kellerman is for years.
Yeah.
For years. I tried to tell people about this guy, but I guess they didn't see it.
And I get that you have to adopt a certain public personality. Like Stephen A. Smith, I don't think he's anywhere nearly as cartoonish in real life as he is, when he's in front of a camera. But the way like Max just even treated people in the industry, like once he got in a position of power, man, that was the part that turned me off a long time ago. There's a lot of people like him. He's not alone. But.
Yeah. But like Teddy Atlas, he shits on boxing as a whole.
Yeah.
Max only shits on certain segments of boxing. That's the difference between them.
Right.
I mean, Teddy Atlas he wrong too, but he's consistent in shitting on everybody.
Yeah.
He should just stick to MMA because that's what he loves so much now.
Yeah. Ironically, Teddy would still have a job if ESPN never hired Mark Reed. Putting the two of them ringside, it was like that was the ends for him.
All right. You got anything else?
Hey, one other thing we got coming up is a 9-round fight for a regional title. Do you think we'll see more of those, Jake?
Where is it, like in Venezuela or Argentina?
Yeah, I believe it's down like
Yeah,
in South America.
it's kind of common over there. I've seen those, like especially like on those WBA like drug, KO drugs festivals. I've seen like 9-round fights, 11-round fights. So I don't see that catching on in the U.S. though. I wouldn't mind it. I mean, because not that there's a lot of draws, but fights like that, there's less of a chance of a draw.
Oh, I would rather see 13 than 9 if we're gonna do
I'd rather see fewer 12-round fights personally, but I'm not about to start a how to fix boxing segment.
Yes, next week's Jake and Lefty show will be how to fix boxing.
Right. Live from the Riverwalk. Are you going to be there next week?
No. Once they delay the fight, I'm not going.
Oh, I got you.
I'm not going to any fights, man.
Yeah. This will be my last confirmed fight as a reporter. I'm not sure after that. I might be. I thought July 15th was going to be my last day of boxing scene, but it might extend. But that's to come. But for now, this is my last ringside.
But I will be hosting a pay-per-view party, so if y'all are in Cincinnati for Spence Bud, hit me up. I know somebody will be here the week before, but yeah, if y'all in Cincinnati for Spence versus Bud, hit me up and you can come to my pay-per-view party.
Are you staying in the industry, Jake, though, or are you going to be done right?
No, so like I work full-time at an advertising agency, and it's gotten extremely busy there. I can't juggle both, and I have a future in one and not necessarily as bright a future in the other. So,
and I will have a big inflatable screen outside. The fight would be watched outside. I would have like my neighbors down the street who be watching John Wick on an inflatable screen at 11 o'clock at night on a Wednesday night, which is ridiculous. That I could hear that 4 doors down from my house on a Wednesday night. I can understand if it's on a Saturday night, but it's a Wednesday night and they got John Wick playing. All I hear is gunshots. So I'm thinking somebody's shooting for real. And they down the street in the driveway with the big inflatable screen set up with the Dolby surround sound 5.0 in the front yard, blasting John Wick on 11 o'clock at night on a Wednesday. Wednesday is garbage. The night that you take your garbage out, not you playing John Wick on an inflatable screen.
Have you snitched?
Maybe. Maybe not.
AKA yes.
Let's just say they didn't do it again.
Yep, he told.
Let's just say that happened again. No,
man. Yeah. And the hip hop festival is the week before, right?
The Cincinnati Music Festival, yes.
Yeah.
Which I think I shall be attending that. I'll see.
Yeah. A smaller portion of that is coming out this way.
Yeah, the hip hop, the Thursday night hip hop. You surprised you ain't make your way out here.
Yep.
To see the legends.
Yeah, it's definitely.
And King P will be covering the fight next week, right, King P?
No, not next week. I'm covering the Baumgartner fight, the card.
Oh, in 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah. I was surprised. I know it's killing me. I'm not going to be at that one. I'm going to be in New York.
You know, they took the best card of the fight off. The best fighter off.
Yeah.
Oh boy said he see if he would have stuck to that card, he could have got some time on the show. He said he didn't want to fight because he didn't want to be fighting before the Olympian. What's the dude they got at one? I think he's at 126. They just beat you know what I'm talking about, A-side.
So Ray Ford?
Yeah, Ray Ford. He said he didn't want to be on the fight because he didn't want to fight before he didn't want to be on the card.
Andy Cruz. He didn't want to fight before Andy Cruz.
Yeah, he didn't want to fight before Andy Cruz. He could have got bumped up. He still would have been fighting before him, but he would have been on the televised portion.
Yeah, and I think he also waiting for that championship, that issue with what's the dude, Kormatov and Lee Wood and all that.
Yeah.
He waiting for that situation to shake out as well. So I don't think he want to go in there prematurely and then a decision get made and when he left out because of time and not being on schedule.
Yeah, because that deadline was Thursday. I reported on Rowley and O'Hara Davies. I didn't yet report on that fight because it sounds like they're still trying to work out a deal, not necessarily for Lee Wood to fight Kormatov, but
Jake, his people is doubling down that they not stepping aside for that.
No, that's what I'm saying. They're not, but they still need compensation if they're not going to get to fight Lee Wood, whether it's to fight for the vacant title or to allow Lee Wood to do whatever situation he's going to. But they wanted to go to a first bid, but they also respect the business part of it as well.
Yeah, you want to be out in the public saying you want to fight. You're not turning it down. You want to get a public face.
You also don't want to burn that bridge either, especially if Matchroom is going to pay for Kolmatov and Brady Ford. It's not like Kolmatov is.
What was the deadline on Davies?
They were both Thursday, the 29th. I don't think any negotiation is taking place between Rolly and Davies.
We shall see.
So is it looking like Rolly gonna vacate?
Huh?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, look, for as much noise as O'Hara Davies is making, if Rolly wants to fight and PBC is confident in winning it, just win the purse bid and dare him to come to the U.S. Because I don't know if he's allowed to travel. He was a huge Canadian component.
I mean, I like how we said about that. I don't like the boxers being punished for that.
Yeah, I agree.
Punishment should have just been on the actual people. I don't like when they punish the boxers for that. But don't forget to check out LDubBoxing.com. He has the latest write-ups. Fights you didn't know that happened. You check out LDubBoxing.com. He'll have a write-up on the fight. He had one on the fight. I didn't realize it happened. And, a lot of guys were talking about Too Slick, Lord of the Flies, Intangibles, VV, 123 messages about CP Freshmark. It's ridiculous to be having 103 messages about a fight like that, which is crazy.
You talking about the fight from Wednesday?
It was some fight. All I know, I went to DM. They had 123 messages talking about some fights.
They talking about the roaster, Rosa and Freshmark.
That was probably it. Man, I don't remember. All I know is 123 messages, which is crazy. Crazy. All right, y'all. Anything else? Anybody else got anything to plug before we get out of here? Ezra, Walk and Talk, Big Stacks. You got anything to plug?
Nah, man, I'm good, man. But shout out to you guys, man, for keeping this show going. I step in and listen, and everybody just you guys all do a great job, and whatever you guys can do to promote boxing, just in general, man, you guys are doing a good job, because boxing, man, needs to come together here in the States because of the demographics of sports with the NBA, NFL, everything else, man. Like the American fighters don't get enough fans backing them, and you guys are doing everything possible, man, with your shows and getting people to tune in and to listen and to watch fights, man. So, it's people like us that are out here grinding and putting in work that is, man, I think we're actually saving boxing, man, because you don't see ESPN, you don't see these big guys out there at the local gyms, man. And
yeah,
are you guys out there on the East Coast, Cincinnati, Detroit, Texas, everywhere that you guys are at, and everything you guys are doing for the sport, man. I mean, it's real commendable, man. So good shit, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Dax. Appreciate that.
Y'all see that tweet I put there up there at the top?
We can't read Twitter.
It says we're streaming Shinga versus
Reggie Suganov. Yeah, that's gonna be on the Matchroom YouTube channel.
This is the stuff they talk about. I had to read 123 messages about it.
Yeah, that's that IBF 108 fight. It's gonna be on Matchroom's YouTube channel tomorrow.
I'll just play it. Great fight. Everybody tune in. Everybody tune in to watch tonight. Jared Anderson versus Charles Martin, former IBF champion. Also, these other fights, they start at what time, Jake? When this fight earlier?
The UK show starts 2 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus. And then, Top Rank has their undercard on ESPN Plus, I think at 6:15 Eastern. And then the main show is
Top Rank undercard on ESPN Plus? Oh, you said Top Rank. I'm thinking Metro. Okay, yeah, Top Rank undercard at 6 p.m.
I'm sorry. The Matchroom card is 2 p.m. on the Zone. That's just a prospect show.
Yeah. They had a Before the Bell show. It was usually on YouTube. Middleweight championship. Where can we watch the middleweight championship fight?
That's on Aegon. I think it's called Aegon Sports. It's a promoter in Germany. It's on their YouTube channel.
And if you don't have Aeon Sports, hit me up. You get Lefty Flicks, and you will be able to watch it. It will be on there. They was even showing the Metaverse fight yesterday.
Yeah,
I didn't watch, but J-Ro said it was on there. So
yeah.
if you don't have, if you want to see anything in sports, hit up me for Lefty Flicks, and you get it all.
Aegon, they usually don't have. I don't think there's geo blocking on the YouTube channel, so you should be able to watch that without having to steal it.
Yeah. We gotta go say steal per se.
I know. No, I'm not. I didn't say. No, Lefty Flicks is a different level. I'm talking about
Let's
those
say
who
borrow.
look for
We're just
streaming.
gonna borrow it to put into our memory.
Right. Exactly. Lefty Flicks is a different part of that. So massive shout out to Leonard jumping on here and dropping knowledge. Hope everyone
appreciate it.
listens. It feels like it did because you guys didn't ask the same questions you do every week. It's like you keep asking me about, stuff that's going on with PBC. It's like they're just going to let us know when it comes out. So sounds like we did listen.
And be ready for Tank versus Haney to be announced soon.
And look, I will say that the lesson learned, like regardless of what promoter you're aligned with, if you want to become a big pay-per-view star, Showtime has been really doing this since the 90s. Even when HBO ran the sport, Showtime was always the pay-per-view driver. I mean, especially when Tyson was on there in the 90s, the stuff they showed on the regular channel during then wasn't all that. They had some gems, but they also had, a lot of crap. But they're always the pay-per-view driver in the sport. It's been that way for nearly 30 years now. Really 30. I mean, think about it. Chavez and Finau Whitaker was 30 years ago. And that was the biggest non-heavyweight fight.
Okay.
So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if Devin Haney's looking for someone, him versus Tank, that's a massive, massive, massive pay-per-view fight. That will not be a massive fight on any other platform.
I forgot I had YouTube up.